Lessons. I'm instructor Dwayne Jenkins. In today's video, we're going to be talking about some more lead guitar playing out of this book here, Lead Guitar Wizardry Volume 1. Here at Dwayne's Guitar Lessons, we learn all aspects of playing guitar. Right now, we're continuing to work on our lead guitar playing, but if you have some questions about rhythm guitar playing, let me know in the comments below, and I'll be sure to shoot a video for you, okay? But right now we're working on lead guitar playing. Later on we'll work on that as well. Okay, so if you're interested in learning lead guitar, learning how to improve your lead guitar playing, then this is the video for you. So take a few minutes, check it out, and we'll show you how to improve your lead guitar playing. Alright, now we've been working out this book, and hopefully you've been following along with me. If you haven't, I'll leave some videos below that you can check out if you missed some of them. And we're working here, we just went through the pentatonic patterns, the 5 patterns in the key of A minor. And like I said before, you want to be able to transpose these into other keys, okay, so you know where they're at. And it does take some time to get this figured out, but hopefully you're practicing and you're working on that, okay? So what we worked on in our last video was pattern 5, which is up here at the 17th and 15th fret in the key of A minor. Now, of course, it would be in a different position. You played it in G or B or C or something like that. And just kind of figure that out. Just kind of figure out where it would be positioned. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below, and I'll help you out with that, okay? So what we're doing is we're just working in A minor just because it's a very common key to work in, all right? Now, our next lesson is lesson 21, the blues scale with additional notes, okay? Now, I mentioned that other video that I made on one of the things that adds a little color to the minor pentatonic scale is if you add the blues note, the flat fifth, okay? And it's right here. Get your flat fifth note that's gonna give it just a little bit of a different kind of tone or color, kind of a darker kind of color, you know? Which is perfect for playing rock and roll, heavy metal, that kind of stuff. All right, so we already went over that. I mentioned to you about adding that flat fifth. You can add it 2 positions, here and here. Here at the 5th fret, at the 6th fret 5th string, and also right here on the 8th fret 3rd string, okay? Now you add those 2 notes to the minor pentatonic and it gives it a different color. If you listen to that, you can hear how those notes kind of give it a bit of a darker color, okay? Now we can also add some other notes as well. Okay, we can add the 2 in there. We normally skip over the 2 and just go to the flat 3, but we can also add the 2 in there too. Okay, so now if we add the 2 in there, which would be the B in the key of A, and the flat fifth, now listen to it. See how that just kind of darkened it up a little bit? It just added a little bit of color to it, okay? So that's the main thing that you want to think about when you're doing this, okay? Is what kind of notes can you add to give it some different color, all right? By adding that 2 in there along with the flat fifth. Those notes in there, you can still stay within key and give it a little bit of a different color, okay? So we'll look at that a little bit more in detail. So right here in the key of A minor, right? And we're talking about, we go from the 1, the flat 3, the 4, we can add the flat 5, and then the 5, okay? And we can also add the 6 in there. This is kind of talking about lesson 22. And if we're playing in the major pentatonic, like let's say for instance we're playing in C major, right? Because that's a relative major of A minor. Okay, so we could be starting at the C here at the 8th fret instead of the A at the 5th fret. So we're playing from C to C. Now we got our major pentatonic scale. Okay, so we played from C to C to, C to C, okay? There's your major C major pentatonic. And like I said, we could add that flat fifth in there. could add the F sharp, which is going to give us our 6th note. That's going to give us a different kind of sound. See how that 6 just gives you just a darker tone, you know? So that and the flat 5th, both are going to give you a different kind of color. So that's how you add notes. And I did this specifically because you hear a lot of people say things like, oh, I get tired of the pentatonic box patterns, you know, just staying in the box and get tired of playing that same old stuff. Well, the thing of it is the reason why they're getting tired of it is because they don't know how to add notes. And if you add the notes that are within the key, you're going to be able to develop different colors, okay? And by knowing where your root notes are, and if you're playing a major or minor, is going to make a huge difference, okay? So we could add the 2, the flat 5, the 6, okay? And you could add the 6 here. That's your F sharp. Then you got your flat 5 you're adding right here, so you could go. Okay, so there's all kinds of really cool things that you can do. You just have to know where your notes are and how to add them to the scale, and then you can do a lot of really cool things. Okay? How to break out of that box pattern that everybody gets bored with. I can't tell you how many times I've heard people tell me that. Oh, I get bored with those pentatonic scales. Well, it's because they don't know them well enough. You know, I read in this article with Eddie Van Halen a long time ago, and I mentioned him because he really was, you know, he revolutionized guitar playing without a doubt. If you go back into his history, you'll see a lot of that 80s music that came out in the 80s was all, you know, was all influenced by Eddie Van Halen, okay? And I remember reading an article with Guitar Magazine with him. He said that if you don't know the pentatonics, if you can't get anything out of the pentatonics, it's because you don't know them well enough. And a lot of people, they just don't know them well enough. They don't know how to add those notes. They don't study their, you know, their music theory and things like that, and then that's why they get bored with it, okay? So don't do that, all right? You want to do something a little bit more than that. You want to know your notes. You want to know where they're located on the fretboard and how to add them in there, so that way you know how to get the kind of color that you want out of the scales. Like chords, same thing. You know, if you just know your basic chords and that's all you know, if you don't know how to create chord embellishments, how to add notes, okay, to create color, then, you know, you're going to be limited. It's kind of like a painter that only can paint with 3 colors, you know. You're only so much you can do with that, okay? Of course, if you know how to mix and match those 3 colors, you can make a whole wide variety of color. And in fact, there's only really 3 colors, yellow, red, and blue, and all the other colors come from that. Those are your primary colors, but that's something totally different. Anyway, what I'm saying here is that get down your patterns, okay? Get down your fundamental, 5 fundamental box patterns, you know, start with that, and then look at where you can add notes to them, so that way you can add color to it, okay? So here's what I put in the book. If you add even more notes to the scale or passing tones that you play but don't necessarily land on, this will allow you to create more diversity in your playing. This will allow you to add more color and emotion. That's what we're talking about here, okay? In lesson 22, the major pentatonic scale contains the 1, 2, 3, 5, and the 6 of the major scale. In additional notes, you could add the 4 and the 7, okay? Just add those different notes that are within the scale. You just have to know where they're at in the pattern, okay? And that just comes through practice and study, all right? You can add these to complete the scale. Remember, when playing the major scales, always be shooting for that do, re, mi. That's your major scales. But if you're doing the pentatonics, of course, that's a little bit different because we're only made up of those 5 notes, okay? We're not using all 8 notes of the major scale, okay? This is going to help you develop different sounds, different emotions in your playing, okay? Just look at where you can add those notes, and that's going to really help you improve your guitar solos, all right? So practice that. Now, hopefully you got all those 5 patterns down now, and you can play all over the fretboard, because that's how you do it. Play all over the fretboard. And if you need some help, I recommend you get this book, Lead Guitar Wizardry Volume 1. You can get it on Amazon, either Kindle or paperback, or you can buy it out of my eBay store. And if you do, I will sign it for you, okay? And if you have any more stuff you want to learn, check out my website at DwaynesGuitarLessons.com, because I got a lot of lessons on there. I usually put videos on there and then add a blog of text lesson as well. Okay? Join my Anchor Club. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. Click the bell for future notifications. And if you have any questions about anything that I'm teaching or anything that you're learning from somebody else, anything you're learning, it doesn't really matter. Leave me a comment below and I'll help you out. Okay? So once again, keep practicing and we'll see you at our next lesson.